Can you hear me from there? I have to mute my mic to talk. Hello, good evening, and welcome to day 2 of the Magnetic Mind Summit. If you're just joining, let me know if you can hear me and let me know if you can see me as well. So let me know if you can hear me and see me. We're live for the Magnetic Mind Summit 2022 day 2. Yesterday was amazing. We had two guest speakers. Chinaza Favor and Stanley SD David, and they both, blew our minds. Today is going to be much more amazing. We're going in the first speaker, Aaron Arboiry, and also myself, my humble self. So Aaron is going to be talking about the magnetic self, basically how we can deeply connect to ourselves to begin to attract our desires. That is what Aaron is going to be talking about. Okay, thank you very much, Kingdom, for letting me know that you can see me. So if any other person can see me and can hear me, please let me know in the comments so I know that you can see me and hear me. So before I bring on our guest speaker for tonight, I would love to, I would just quickly play his bio to let you know more about him, right? So I'll be playing his bio in okay.
Aaron Arboiry is a creativity coach focused on building kingdom creatives and helping people find their true selves in God's kingdom. He is a prolific writer and lover of the faith. His goal is to raise men whose creativity shines through the glory of God and draws men to his kingdom. He does that by building people through his community and writing. As one who has deeply connected to the essence of himself, he will be helping others to do the same as he speaks on the magnetic self, how to deeply connect to yourself and attract your desires.
For letting me know that you can see and can hear me as well. So I hope we are all ready. I hope we're ready for tonight's session. I hope we're ready to. Okay, so I would like to call on our guest speaker. Very, very I would like to call on our guest speaker shortly. But before we call on our guest speaker, I would like to say very few things about him. So I said earlier on, he's going to be talking about the magnetic self, right? So I know that why are we talking about the magnetic self? So we're talking about how to deeply connect to ourselves to be able to attract our desires. We need to be able to connect to ourselves. So I was reading something yesterday, and someone said that a lot of people do not get what they want. They do not achieve their goals, and that's because they are not even connected with themselves, or they are not even connected to themselves. They do not even know what it is that they really want, right? They do not know what it is that they really want to be able to attract those goals and those desires, right? So that's why today we're going to be talking about the magnetic self, how we can deeply connect to ourselves. Because for us to attract our desires, for us to attract what it is that we want, we need to be able to connect deeply to ourselves, right? So Aaron Aguirre is someone who has done that. He is my friend. He's been my friend for over close to 4 years right now. And I remember when we just met some several years back. That was when I was battered and beaten, and I was basically coming out from all of the hurt and um, bad or past relationships and hurts and heartbreaks and all of that. You can watch my documentary YouTube video to learn more about my story, right? I do not want to go deep into that because it's going to take a whole lot of time, right? So I met him, and you know, as at that time, I was like, I'm just basically, I was depressed and all of that, and I was like, I'm just done, I'm done with people and life and all of that. And then I met him, and he told me that, I'm going to. There was one word he told me that still sticks to my head today till date. It says, um, A, I'm sorry, Jay. That's what he calls me. He said, Jay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove to you that good guys still exist, right? And over the years, he has proved that over and over and over again, and he keeps proving it. Yeah, that good guys still exist. So let's make welcome my very good friend Aaron. I'm going to be adding him to the screen right now. Hi, Aaron. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Okay, I'm trying to add in. Oh, it seems is hi. Can you hear me? Hi, Aaron. Can you hear me? Wow, I can't actually hear anything. Guys, if you can hear him or if you can see him, please let me know in the comments that you can hear. I don't know why he can't hear me. Or I don't know why I can't hear him. Aaron, if you can hear me, please say something because I can't hear you. Can you please check on your mic because I can't hear you. I think you are muted, so check your end. Please check your end if you can try to unmute from your end. I cannot. If you can hear me, I can't hear you at all. I can't hear you. So your mic is muted. So if you can check your end. Okay, people say you can see, but they can't hear you. So please, can you check your end? Please check your end. I don't know why I can't hear you. Okay, so right now is off the call. Hi, Aaron. Hello, say something. So let me know if I can hear you. I can't hear you. I actually cannot hear you, so I don't know why. I don't know if you can hear me. Your mic is switching between mute and unmuted. So maybe you check something from your end. Please check something from your end. Your mic is currently muted. So I'm so sorry guys. I really do not know this why I can't seem to hear him. Please check something from your end or and he's trying to talk but I don't know why. I don't even know if you can hear anything I'm saying. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to let you out and then send you the link again. I don't know if you can hear me. So I'm going to let you out and then send you the link again so you can join. Guys, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I do not know why I can't hear him, or I do not know why he's finding it difficult. Hi, A, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, I can. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better. I can hear you now. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Guys, can you please confirm if you can hear him? Can you please confirm if you can hear him now? Whoa, my dad is in the building. Guys, can you please confirm if you can hear him right now? Because I can hear him. Can you please say something again, A?
Hi.
Okay, I can hear
Can you
you.
hear me?
So yeah, I can hear you. I just want confirmation from. Okay, yeah, people said Vanessa said she can hear you right now. Okay, so I think we've already spent so much time on trying to sort this whole thing out. So I'm just going to like give it to you so that you just try to. So you just take over and let's see how we can um would I say rush things? No, not basically rush things, but let's see how we can go faster a bit. You get what I mean? All right, guys, thank you so very much. Aaron is going to be taking the floor right now. I'm going to be in the background. I would love to see your comments, just like we did yesterday. It was great. It was amazing. So I would love to see your comments. If you're learning something from the session, let me see them in the comment section, and I'm going to just highlight I'm just going to highlight them on the screen here, right? So, thank you so very much, Aaron Agwewe, for coming to do this. I sincerely and deeply appreciate you. I do not take this for granted at all. So, I am going to be giving you the floor right now. So, please take over. All right? So, I'll be in the background, or, you know,
All
do your thing.
right.
Yeah. Cheers.
Hi, guys. How you all doing? So it's my pleasure to be here today because I know I'm going to be talking to great minds. Please, can you hear me and can you see me? Kindly let me know, please. If you can hear me and you can see me, please kindly let me know. All right. Can you hear me and can you see me? Okay. Thank you very much. Once again, it's a pleasure to be here, and I trust God that with the little time that we have, we should be able to cover something important. So I'm supposed to speak on the topic how to connect with yourself to actualize your desires, and this is a very essential topic for a time such as ours. But I'm going to talk about this topic from the angle of thirst. I want to talk about thirst for quite some days now, for a while. This word has just been on my mind, thirst. And I believe everyone understands thirst. In fact, thirst is a general human phenomenon that everyone knows. From the young to the old, the rich, the poor, everyone understands thirst. Everyone has had to thirst at one time or the other. And even a baby just has to be in the world for about a day to understand thirst. So imagine you who has had to spend a couple of years on earth. It means you very much understand thirst. Now, thirst is a general human phenomenon, and thirst is something that everyone has had to experience in one way or the other. I believe that every living thing gets to experience thirst. Even plants experience thirst when the trees stick their roots into the ground, into the soil, and digging here and there and trying to find wetness or water. Everyone, even animals, goats, chickens, and elephants, and all these, they experience thirst. Even man, you and me, we experience thirst in varying degrees. From day to day, we experience thirst. And one thing that I find remarkable is that even the sage, Jesus Christ, experiences thirst or experienced thirst. The Bible tells us that there was such a time in the life of Jesus when, as he traveled, he came to a well, and then there was water, and there was a woman who came to fetch water. And the story tells us of how Jesus Christ, for the first time I see in the life of Jesus, he would ask for a drink. And he said, "Please give me to drink." Now, this is the Jesus that we know. This is the Jesus that has had to live on earth for about 33.5 years. And we are told that for the last 3.5 years of his life, he impacted the world in such a way, such a phenomenal way, that no one has ever impacted the world before. Now, Jesus Christ was a man who did all sorts of things. He walked the earth. He was God, became flesh. He ate our food, drank our water. He raised our dead. He cleansed our lepers. In the presence of Jesus Christ, the dead came to life. He only had to mention the name once. I've never seen a place in the Bible where Jesus had a need from man. But for the first time, Jesus will come at a well in the presence of a woman, and he said, "Give me to drink." Now, another time comes in the life of Jesus when in his passion, as his passion would unfold painfully and excruciatingly, the Bible will tell us that Jesus Christ was lifted up high and was stretched out wide, and there were nails piercing his skin to the wood and piercing his hands and piercing his foot, and there were crowns. There was a crown of thorns on his head. His side had been pierced, and there was water and blood gushing out, and Jesus was losing strength, and pain was resounding through every nerve of his body, and all he could find to say was, "I thirst." Can you imagine a man in the midst, in the presence of such measure of pain, excruciating pain, and all he can think about in the moment was his thirst? This goes to say that thirst is more painful, more excruciatingly painful than 1,000 needles and nails piercing through your skin. Thirst is very painful. Thirst can be mesmerizing and debilitating, that it is a driving force. It is a powerful driving force. Thirst is one of the reasons that countries go to war and nations come to fight. Thirst can make the high and mighty become low and humble. Thirst can humble you, it can humble me, it can humble a person, a honorable person, can make him give up his honor just to get the thing that he thirsts for, to quench his thirst. Thirst can make a wise man look foolish. Thirst can humble anybody, and everybody has got to experience thirst. Nobody escapes it. Even Jesus Christ was hanging on the cross and he was thirsty. And you realize that there's nobody who wants to talk to his persecutors about his needs. As a matter of fact, if you have to reserve the last measure of pride that you have, you will do this with everything that you can muster. But Jesus Christ came to this point within himself where he broke and he asked his persecutors for water. He said, "I thirst." Thirst can humble anyone. Now, as painful as thirst is, perhaps it is also very important that we begin to explore the fact that some thirst can be more painful than other thirsts. There are two kinds of thirst in the context of this our teaching. I would like to just briefly mention about two types of thirst and dwell on one. Now, there's a thirst for the stuff that is from without, and there's a thirst for the stuff that is from within. When we thirst for the stuff from without, we basically just thirst for the stuff of life. We thirst for comforts, to perhaps be in a good house with all the stuff, all the equipment that we need. We thirst for fame. We thirst for food. We thirst for good clothes hanging off of our bodies. We thirst for gadgets, perhaps the most recent phones, iPhones or whatever, Apple laptops and all these things. We thirst for. When we thirst for the stuff from without, we thirst for the stuff of life. But when we thirst for the stuff from within, This is we thirsting for relevance. This is we thirsting for significance. We want to matter at least to somebody. When we thirst for the things that come from within, this is we having this deep innate desire to just leave a legacy. And it is for this reason that the whole world has been plunged into a journey. It is for this reason that the whole world has been thrown into an eternal journey. Everybody is on a journey to find their relevance. Everyone is on a journey to find their significance, a journey to quench the thirst, the nagging voice from within that keeps crying out and crying out for attention. Everyone is on a journey. It's not about the job that you had to seek. You had to write several applications, you had to submit your CV in several places. It's not even about the job. It wasn't even about the courses you had to take to earn the certificate to make your life a bit upgraded. It wasn't even about all those things. It wasn't even about the relationship. It wasn't about the social circle you sought to belong in. It was about the relevance. It was about the significance. So you sought relevance by seeking that job. You sought significance by seeking to belong in the garden of people that mattered. It wasn't about all those things. It wasn't about the pursuit. It was about the relevance. Everybody, the whole of humanity has been plunged into this journey that continues for a long time. And it is all about the relevance. It's all about the significance. We seek to define ourselves by the place that we come. We seek to define our essence and our relevance by the things that we do, by the people that we meet. So that everywhere you have come, every job you have gotten and done, it was a good job. So you were hoping that this job would help you find your relevance. It was a good relationship, it was a good person, it was a good gathering of people. So you were hoping that you would find your worth, you would find your essence in this place. It was a great career. You were hoping that by this career you'll be known. By this career you'll find your worth, your essence, and you'll be able to express it in the world. So everywhere we went, we sought to define ourselves by it. We sought to define ourselves by the relationship that we come to. This is why when that relationship did not work, you were hurt. This is why when you got that job for a while and you lost it, you were downtrodden, because for a moment you seem to lose the sense of self and the sense of esteem that the job would have brought you momentarily. You seem to lose yourself because you lost the job. You seem to lose yourself because you lost the relationship. You seem to lose yourself because you lost the thing that was giving you the relevance. But you know, the truth of the matter is that we were not born, we're not destined to find ourselves by the places that we come to. We're not destined to find ourselves by the jobs that we do. We're not destined to find the tests. We are not destined to find the stuff that quenches the thirst from within, from the without. As a matter of fact, the stuff that quenches the thirst from within should come from within. But we have reversed this formula, and everybody has been plunged into a journey so that the world has become a noisy place. Everyone is in search for relevance, looking everywhere but the right place. Now, as our faces are different, this is how our heart desires are. As our faces are different, so do our tastes differ. I don't know what you thirst for. I don't know what you want. I don't know what you desire. What is it that keeps you awake when the whole world is asleep? What is that thing that makes you journey through life? What is that thing that makes having a job seem so important to the other? What is that thing that makes having a job seem so important to you? Why is it that you just want to belong in the garden of people that matter? Why is it that you want to matter to your family the way you want to? Why is it that everything that has mattered to you matters to you? Why is it? What is that thing that keeps you awake when the whole world is asleep? Perhaps this find your essence begins to find expression in this. Perhaps your deep and innate desire to matter begins to find expression in this. Now, we are told in the Bible of when Jesus Christ comes to this woman at the well, and this is what he tells her. He tells her that he said that if you drink from this well, you will thirst again. He said, if you drink from this well, you will thirst again. Isn't it amazing how no matter how we search for relevance in such and such places, and we never find, we keep searching for relevance in these places. Isn't it amazing that no matter how impossible it is for a career to bring you this essence that you so desire, and no matter how impossible, no matter how you never get to find this relevance from your career, you still seem to find your relevance in other careers. You still seem to jump from one thing to the other, looking for this self-worth and this self-essence. But the Bible says, and this is true, that if you drink from this water, you will thirst again. The world has thrown a formula onto us, and this is the formula that tries to quench the thirst from within with the stuff from without. The quenching the thirst from within with the stuff from without. But if you must quench the thirst from within, you must learn to first of all be silent and look within. If I was going to find the essence and the meaning and the definition of, say, an orange fruit, I would not need to search all the places that this orange has been. I would not need to search all the places that it has been dug and all the places that it has traveled and all the journeys it had been. What I would simply do would be to cut the orange open and look within for what the orange possesses. And when I look within the orange, behold, I find its juice. When I look within the orange, behold, I'll find its seed. If you are looking for the relevance and significance that you so desire, if you are looking to quench the thirst that comes from within, you have to learn to snatch yourself out of the journey of life. I know that it can be a really debilitating thing to have to snatch yourself out of journeying and out of questing. The reason for this is that for a moment, to snatch yourself out of the quest of journeying would be to have to take a pause and watch everybody go ahead fulfilling their careers, watching everybody go ahead trying to pursue their goals. And for a moment of time, you seem to be maintaining a low profile, trying to do nothing but just look within yourself. It can feel as if your whole friends and everybody that you know are getting ahead. But you must understand that anyone who learns the process of snatching himself from the whole rat race of the world, from the whole journeying of humanity, and learns to, for a moment, pay attention to himself, once he finds that true relevance is the thing that you can offer yourself that the world will not offer you, once you find that true relevance is the thing that you can offer yourself that your job will not give you, the exam, no matter how many exams you write and pass, it will never give you that essence. It will never quench that thirst from within. So all you'll be trying to do would be trying to use all these things that you come to in the world to silence the voice. But every time you come into your closure, every time you come home and you are alone again, all you hear is the voice that has still not been silenced. So how do you silence this voice? How do you maintain silence and look within yourself? How do you maintain silence and look within yourself? You must understand that silence is an art, and as such, it has to be learned. Silence can be one of the most difficult things to do, because just in the moment that you choose to be silent, you must understand that in that moment, your heart seems to be the noisiest. Just in the moment that you choose to want to maintain decorum and peace within, in that moment, you realize that perhaps you have been thinking 1,001 things and it is just difficult to maintain silence, because silence is not necessarily a state of the environment. Silence is a state of the heart. Silence is not about going to the beach, it's not about snatching yourself into a place that is serene and calm and quiet. Silence is maintaining a state of inner decorum. It's a state where your heart is not thinking about your ambitions. It's a state where you are not thinking about your many visions. There has to come a time in your life where you snatch yourself away from the prospect of visions. I know that visions are good. Ambitions is good. Having goals is very important. But you must understand that if your vision for you is just another way to prove yourself in the world, if vision for you is just another way to prove to that boy or that girl or those people who don't believe in you that you are something that is essential in the world, then believe me, you do not need vision for now. A time has to come in your life where you have to drop ambition and vision and forget about the world and everything that everybody is doing. Snatch yourself away from the journey and just be silent. There has to come that time in your life. And It is not such an easy thing, because when you go on social media, when you go on Instagram, you go on Twitter, you go on Facebook, you see everybody talking about what they are doing, everybody talking about what they want to do, everybody talking about what they will achieve this year, what they will achieve next year. So for you to be silent in a world that is so noisy can be a really difficult thing. But you must also understand that silence is a prospect that has been lost in our world. Silence is a prospect that many people do not find anymore, because we live in a world, perhaps this era is the most noisy era in the history of time, because we have everybody talking everywhere and nobody is listening. Everybody is speaking and nobody is listening. Everybody is talking about everything and nobody is listening. And what is even more amazing is that everybody is speaking and yet nobody is speaking. Everybody is speaking about everything that does not matter, and no one is speaking about the things that matter. If you would be granted an access into the hearts and the recesses of the minds of people, you realize that everyone is just noisy. Everyone is speaking about everything, but no one is speaking about the things that matter intimately with them. If you would have an access into the recesses of the heart of people, you would see pain. You see issues and challenges that they cannot solve. You see that there's a cry from within them that is wishing, that is demanding to be heard. A cry from within them that wants to be known, that wants to be noticed, that wants solution. A thirst within them that desires to be quenched. But in order to mask this voice and mask this pain and mask this terror that is within them, in order to mask the need for them to be alone with themselves, because they hate loneliness and they hate having to be alone, they come out in the world and everybody is trying to speak at the same time. Everybody is speaking, nobody is listening, and nobody is really speaking. You have to snatch yourself away from the journey of life. You have to maintain silence. You see, the world has taught us in this day and time, we talk so much about the prospect of self-love, yet we have not really come to the true understanding of what self-love really is. Self-love is not really about going to the beach and hearing winds clash against the sea, causing waves to clash upon themselves. Self-love is not really about taking yourself to an eatery, taking yourself out and treating yourself to his nice meal. Self-love is not also necessarily about going to the movie all by yourself and trying to watch a movie that you love. There's more to self-love than this. If all these activities and all these things cannot help you connect to yourself, to the deep recesses of your heart, if all these things cannot help you know yourself and find your inner self and find your true worth and your true essence, then it is not self-love. It is not the practice of self-love. If all these things do not help you understand and appreciate love for humanity, then it is not self-love. Self-love is not necessarily snatching yourself away from people and disregarding people because they hurt you in the name of trying to love yourself. No, this is not what self-love is. Self-love is not hating on people to love yourself. As a matter of fact, self-love is a prospect that appreciates also the premise of loving humanity and loving people. The first most important thing about self-love and about silence that we must understand today is that it must introduce you to yourself. It must bring about this deep, innate connection between you and yourself. And as you seek to connect yourself, there is one thing you must understand about your pain, and it is that there is nothing that introduces you to yourself as your pain. I see a world of people where everyone is trying to run away from their pain. If to be alone in your room or alone to yourself is to be reminded of all the things that you go through and how impossible or difficult it is for you to surmount the odds. If to be alone for you is to remember all the things that you could not succeed at, to remember all the goals that you could not crush. If to be alone for you is to remember all the people who hurt you and all the relationships that didn't come true for you. If to be alone for you is to remember all the jobs and the job hunts that you did not get. If to be alone is to remember all your pain, you tend to run away from being alone. People tend to run away from their pain because we do not understand that your pain has this tenacity, this tendency, the proclivity to introduce you to yourself. Stop trying to run away from your pain. If someone who loves you so much, is trying to speak to you and talk to you and communicate to you, what do you do? What do? You listen to them. If there is this voice that is crying out from within you, this voice that is seeking for the thirst from within to be quenched. There's this voice that keeps crying and calling out and calling forth and nagging and disturbing, and all you want is for this voice to be silenced. You do not silence the voice by seeking to be in a noisy gathering, by going partying and doing sinful things and doing everything that defies your soul and defies your humanity. You do not seek to silence the voice by coming and belonging and participating in the noisiness of social media. You do not seek to silence the voice from within by seeking to do all the things that do not matter, but the one thing that matters. Instead, every time someone who loves you tries to speak to you, what you do is that you maintain silence and you listen to them. The very first thing that a person must do in order to find himself is to listen to the voice from within. Listen to the voice from within. Listen to the voice from within. There's something inside of you that is speaking, and you have to understand how very easy it is for you to connect to yourself. You have to understand how very simple it is to connect to yourself. Once you realize that all that it takes to connect to yourself is to fall silent, and for once in your life, stop trying to succeed at whatever thing that matters to the world. Stop trying to succeed at the things that make people see you as somebody that is important. For once in your life, stop trying to do everything that everybody is doing or whatever it is that no one is doing that will make you stand out. For this once in your life, listen to the voice that is calling from within. There was this time in my life when I wanted to participate in courses. This was like years ago. I wanted to participate in courses, take writing trainings and other kind of trainings and sessions that could make me better, partly because it was what was in vogue. Even now, these are the things that are in vogue. My friends were all around doing these things. All you had to do was look on social media. And I had friends who were writers who were doing courses, any certificates, and I wanted that too for myself. So there was this time I decided that there was this course, I was going to apply for it. And I was going to apply for the course, and I heard the Holy Spirit speak to me in that period. He said, give that money to me. It was hurting for me because I really wanted to participate in the course, and I had to muster the fund in that time to enroll in the course. And the Holy Spirit came and he said, give that money to me. And it was hurting because the world was getting along. Everybody was learning. Everybody was earning certificates. Everybody was writing examinations. Everybody was applying things to make them better. And I wanted to belong in this voice. And the Holy Spirit said, give that money to me. It was painful, but I had to obey God. And now to obey God meant to snatch myself out of that journey. Now, it can be a very deceitful thing. There are times when to participate in trainings and courses, though it is a good thing to have a vision, it's a good thing to pursue your dreams, but there are times when these things can come in the guise of trying to belong in a race that is going on in the world. There has to come a time in your life when you go undercover. There has to come a time in your life when you go into silence and speculate, when you come into this period of self-fellowshipping and meditation just to find yourself. Because when you find yourself and you comfort into the world among the people, among the group of people who are journeying and seeking to find themselves through all the places that they've been, what you realize is that as a person who has learned to quench the thirst from within with the substance that comes from within, you become a king in the midst of people trying to quench the thirst from within with the substance that comes from without. What is the thing that you so desire? What is this thirst from within you? Understand that there's a thirst from within you that will never be quenched with the things from without. There's a thirst from within you that can never be quenched from the thirst with the things from without. No matter how good it is, no matter how important it seems, all these things are momentary. You need to learn to snatch yourself and speculate and have a moment of self-fellowshipping. One of the very first things that you realize when you begin to snatch yourself and fellowship with yourself is peace. The very first thing you realize is peace. You come to this inner peace that you do not find. You may not outrightly find this essence and this meaning and this purpose. Immediately you begin to ruminate and speculate and fellowship with yourself. You may not just leap at the answer, but the first thing you find is that for a moment you realize that my pain is not so painful after all. For a moment you realize that, whoa, I'm beautiful and I'm okay. I could fellowship with myself, and it's all cool and it's all good. And once you realize that your pain is not going to kill you, once you realize that you are beautiful and you are something to look upon, once you come to this realization, it in itself is a form of satisfaction for you. It is like coming to a stream of water, and though you have not begun to drink of this stream, the release of having to know that there is hope of water and you are standing by it, it brings you peace. It brings you peace to know that for a moment in your life, you do not belong in the race that everybody is running. It brings you peace to know that for a moment in your life, you are not trying to get significance from a job. It brings you peace to know that for a moment in your life, you are not trying to define your life by a relationship. It brings you peace. No wonder that boy could not really love you, because no matter how much love he wanted to offer to you, no matter how much love he wanted to shower upon you, the love just was never enough, because no matter how much of these things you drink, you will thirst again. There's only one thing that can satisfy the thirst from within, and it is that stuff from within. It is the relevance from within. There's no one that can offer you the relevance that you do not first offer yourself. There's no one that can quench your thirst if you do not first quench it. No one will be able to love you more than your ability and your tenacity to love yourself. This is why you must first of all snatch yourself out and find that peace. And once you find that inner peace, the next thing that you realize is that there's a measure of abundance from within. And you realize that all this while I've been trying to do things and define myself by the places I've been, the people I've met, and the engagements I've been engaged in. All this while I've been trying to satisfy myself by all these things, and there's all this abundance in me. You realize for the first time that there's an abundance in you. And then the next thing that you realize again is that this abundance is not, you will not find it in the form of a massive stream and ocean and water clashing upon themselves. The next thing you realize that this abundance, you will not find it in the form of a forest of fruits dripping off of the trees and beauty and gardens. You will not find it in this form. What you find is the seed. When you look within yourself, you will find abundance, but you will not find it in the form of literal abundance. You will find it in the form of a seed. And this seed, like we were told yesterday, has the tendency to replicate itself. This seed has the tendency to produce the fruits and the trees and the streams of water that will gush out and will feed the world. But you will not find it in the form of the abundance. You find it in the form of a seed. Now, you may be a little bit thrown aback, because this seed that you find, you will be tempted to relegate. This seed that you find will look like nothing to you, but do not be tempted, because it is not nothing. There is no such thing as nothing. If you find it within yourself, it is not nothing. If you find it within yourself, it has the tendency to quench your thirst. If you find it within yourself, it has the tendency to satisfy your desire. And if it can quench your thirst, it can quench the thirst of your family. If it can quench your thirst, it can quench the thirst of your community. If it can quench your thirst, it can quench the thirst of nation. If you find it within yourself as a seed, no matter how small it is not nothing. No matter how insignificant it may seem, there is no such thing as nothing if it is within you. The reason you keep looking at the things that other people have, you keep snatching your attention onto the distractions of what people have made themselves. And so you just want to be like them. You want to be like that person who has become that thing. You want to become like that successful person who has crushed all his goals. You do not realize that there was time in his life. You do not realize that there was a time in his life when he had seeds just like you. If you find it within yourself, then it is not nothing. You need to learn to give attention to the things that you find. And I'm going to round up with this. I'm rounding up with this. There's no such thing as nothing. I've studied stories of great men, and I've looked through scriptures, and I have learned this, that there's no such thing as nothing within you. That thing that you look upon, that is in your hand, that is nothing today, it is the substance of greatness. It is the substance of glory. God specializes in looking for the thing that you have in your hand. if you look through the pages of scriptures, you realize and you see God coming down from earth, not to give man anything. God is not going to give you anything. God is not going to give you significance. He's not going to give you relevance. He has placed it inside of you. You have to learn to snatch yourself out of the world system and pay attention to yourself, to listen for your relevance, listen for your significance, and not listen out in the world, but listen to your heart. And when you find this little thing, understand that it is like the rod in the hand of Moses when God said, "What is in your hand?" And that rod that looked like just a stick, God used it to bring the people of Egypt, Israel, out of the land of Egypt. It is like the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes when Jesus Christ said, "We want to feed 5,000 people." And the disciples said, "We have nothing." And Jesus Christ said, "What is in your hand?" They said, "We have nothing but 5 loaves of bread." It is not nothing, because that seed that you call nothing, it may be a writing gift that can't even move the heart of anybody. It may be an ability to sing that may not even be so beautiful as yet. It may be just a little seed that can pass for nothing. But if you will pay attention to it, if you will learn to love your seed and love your gift of writing and love your gift of speaking and love your gift of singing and love yourself for what you have and what you are in the moment. It may not be big right now, it may not be huge, it may not be great, it may not be a stream, it may not be a forest, but if you learn to love yourself for what you are and what you have right now, and learn to build upon it in your pace, not in the pace that the world keeps hurrying you to go after, not in the pace that the world keeps pushing you, when it makes you come on a journey, when it makes you start looking for significance and relevance in places, but in your pace. If you learn to give yourself time to grow, eventually you realize that the thing from within is not nothing. I'm going to round up my talk and teaching here for now, and I hope that you've been blessed. Thank you so much for listening. I don't know if anyone has a question. I'd like to entertain maybe one or two. The time is already fast spent.
Hi, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much,
Guys,
Juliet
if
Israel,
this
for
was
this
amazing,
great
if this was
privilege.
interesting, yeah, thank you so much for. I actually do appreciate you for
I
coming
can't
on
hear
board.
you,
Guys, if
Juliet.
you let, can you hear me? Can anybody else hear me? Can you hear me? Please, if you can hear me, let me know. Let me know if you can hear me as well. Okay. I got a comment that someone can hear me. Aaron, I don't know why you can't hear me,
I can't hear
right?
you.
So I'm just going to put up some of the. He said he can't hear me. Okay, people can hear me. Other people can hear me. I really do not know why he can't hear me. Okay, but I'm just going to put up some of the comments that people are getting. Some of the comments about the session. So, guys, if you have questions, please put it in the chat box. So I'll just highlight it. Since he can't hear me, he can obviously see the screen, so he would be able to answer the question. So, if you have any question, please put it in the chat box. Thank you, guys. Aaron, thank you so much. I don't know why you can't hear me. Right? I don't know why you can't hear me, but oh, I think he's off the screen right now. But guys, if anyone has questions, please let me know in the chat box. So I'll just highlight it for him. And then also you can also keep letting him know. I'm just going to keep highlighting all the comments so he can see them. Since he can't hear, at least he can see that the session was amazing and people were blessed. So you can just put up your comments in the chat box, and he's definitely going to see it, right? So before we continue, I want to just say a very big thank you to my dad and mom. They are both actually on this live. I would have loved to, bring them on stage and maybe they say a few things, but unfortunately, I cannot do that right now. But I'm just going to highlight their comments so that you can see my parents. Actually, um, I have a lot to thank them for, because without them, I wouldn't be here, and you guys would not be seeing having me host this session. So basically, they raised me well. So this is my dad. This is my dad. You can just leave it in the comments. Leave some kind words to them in the comments. My dad and my mom, they're actually both streaming this live right now. So this is my dad. Let me find my mom. Okay. All right, this is my mom. This is my mom. And yep. My mom is the one dropping the fire, yeah, the fire emojis and saying, I love this. And my mom says she's so proud of me. so so guys, if you have questions for Aaron, is still he's still in the waiting room. So if you have questions, you can just put it in the chat box and then I'll just bring him back in. If you have questions for him, while we're saying thank you to my dad and my mom, I'm going to just put up some comments from people. God bless you, Mr. and Mrs. Israel. Thank you, Annie. Um, Daddy and mommy, I love you. Thank you, Kingdom. Okay, this is I think from Joseph. This is talking about the session. And then dad and mom, thanks. Thank you, Hanifat. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for honoring my parents. They really raised me well. And dad and mom, I really love you and I appreciate you. I know you guys can see me right now and you guys would be proud of me. But thank you guys so much. I'm calling my parents guys. Oh my goodness. But thank you, dad and mom, so much. I am proud to be called yours. I'm proud that you guys, what am I always saying, guys? I'm proud that you gave birth to me, right? This is my dad. Yeah, this is my dad saying well done. And thank you so much, Elsie Francis, for honoring my parents. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I guess no one has questions for Aaron, so we're just going to kick it off. We're just going to keep moving. Before I go on, so I'm the next speaker, and I'm supposed to talk about overcoming the fear of success, right, as a requirement for attracting your desires. So before we get into the meat of the matter, talk about before I have my session, I just want to say thank you to some amazing individuals. I want to say thank you to them. These guys actually pull the strings for me, right? You can see the summit, everything is beautiful, everything is going on smoothly. There were some people in the background who actually did most of the work, right? So I'm just here, I just show up live and we're having this session and it's amazing. But there are some people, some amazing set of individuals who, rallied round and try to make things work out, designs, content, marketing, promotion, basically almost everything. In fact, if you've been listening to the speaker bio, you would have heard, the videos, you've seen the video, the voiceover. All of these were done by some amazing set of people, and I cannot thank them enough. So there's a short video I am just going to play right now. There's a short video I'm going to play, and it's for those people who have been doing all of the amazing stuff in the background. These guys are, the volunteers. They decided to help out, make the summit a success, and I really do appreciate them. So the next video you're going to be seeing right now are videos of my amazing and beautiful team who made all of this possible. Thank you guys so much. All right. Okay. I just saw a comment that by Anne that says I'm calling my parents guys. Man, I don't know. I think I got so used to saying guys, and then I just call them guys. So those are my amazing volunteers, my team members who actually pulled the strings for me and made all of this possible. I'm super, super, super grateful to every one of them. If you guys are here, please let's put some fire emojis in the chat box. I can just highlight you. But I'm very grateful. You can see all of them. Um, they all did a fantastic job, right? They were so like the pace at which they worked was even so amazing and touching for me. And I sincerely and deeply appreciate you. I pray that you will never lack helpers when you want to do anything in this life. God bless you so much. I am like, I don't know how to express my gratitude to you, but God sees my heart and He knows that I'm so grateful to you. Right. So before we go further, let me quickly play. Yeah, I want to play this amazing video. Right, it's a video about my book, The Magnetic Mind. So you're going to get more details, and even as I go on in my session, I'm going to share more details about it. So before I play my speaker bio and then start my session, I just want to play this video for you. So please wait.
What if you could have anything you desire? What if you could eliminate fear, doubt, and those limiting beliefs boxing up your dreams once and for all? Would you want that? Would you want a tool that will enable you to shine like the light you are? A tool where you could be, do, and have anything you want just by having the desire for them? Well, you already have that tool. All that is left is putting it to work. In her new book, The Magnetic Mind, Juliet Israel shares 5 practical steps to helping you maximize the full potential of your mind, eliminate self-doubts and fear, take charge of your mind and attract your desires. But it doesn't end there. When you get the book, you get access to these. Firstly, a workbook to help you put to practice everything you've learned from the book. Secondly, a 3-month access to a support group with bi-weekly meetings to hold you by the hand and see your dreams come alive. And of course, the book itself. Get all these today for only 10,000 Naira and begin the journey to maximize your full potential.
Oh my goodness. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I can see all the comments. Anne says, even a white man, your brand has gone international. Yes, so yeah, the Juliet Israel brand has gone international. Like, I was actually really wowed when I said I needed people to, help me out, with some things. And then these people reached out. In fact, they're even more, but I just could not have work with everyone. And these people reached out and they were like, oh, I want to assist. I want to help with this. Like, I am so touched. Even today, it's also now, I'm still like amazed by like how these people just rallied round. In fact, I didn't even need to stress for anything. Like, even till today that I was supposed to be having a session, I slept until 7:30 or 7:20 thereabouts. Like, imagine if I had to do everything myself. In fact, I wouldn't even be able to sleep well because I would be worried about my session. I'll be worried about how to put everything together because I knew that, I had an amazing team, or I have an amazing team who are doing all of this amazing work in the background. I was able to relax and sleep because I was really tired after church service today. So I just had to rest. And I was not worried at all. When I woke up, everything was already going on fine. They were already doing what they had to do, and everything just went on smoothly. So I am super grateful to all these volunteers, my team members who made this whole thing a success, right? So I'm going to be getting into my own personal session, which is going to be the last for today and also the final one for this summit. So let me just quickly play my speaker bio and then we get into my session, right?
Juliet Israel is a mindset coach, philanthropist, God chaser, and lover, and she is passionate about understanding the workings of the mind. She is poised to using her gift of writing and storytelling to shed light on the path of many in bringing them from the shackles of hurt, grief, and limiting beliefs, for which she has won multiple awards across communities. Her YouTube channel and weekly newsletters have caused quite a stir, and amazing testimonies from participants have been the order of the day. Through her upheavals, she has learned resilience and gained mastery over mental roadblocks and is inspiring others to do the same.
All right, guys. So that's a bit about me, but you'd probably get to know more about me as we go on in this session. And also, you can even just go to my YouTube page or this channel, right? And watch my documentary video. It's a documentary video about my life, and in that video you're going to learn more about me. I think it's about 40 minutes or thereabouts. So if you want to know more about, so if you're listening to me for the first time or you're having an experience with me for the first time, you can just basically watch that video. So right, I'm getting into my session right now. I'm not going to talk so much about myself because I believe that I have a lot of things that talk about me, in the background, right? So today I'm going to be talking about overcoming the fear of success as a requirement to attracting your desires. That's what I'm going to be talking about. That's my topic for today. But first of all, I would just like to start with a kind of like a short story. I do not want to take so much of our time, um, so I will try to be brief and try to wrap it up really really fast. So please, if you're following me, just let me know if you're having if you have questions. You can also just be putting it in the chat box, and I will just highlight them, and I can even answer it as I go on in the session, right? So what is actually the fear of success? Now, before I decided to, I think recently I've been talking about the fear of success, and I believe that the reason I did that was because that was something that plagued me for quite a long time. I'm sorry, can you please give me a second? Please give me a second. I just realized I need to do something. I'm just going to play the bio about the book, and
What if you could have anything you desire? What if you could eliminate fear, doubt, and those limiting beliefs boxing up your dreams once and for all? Would you want that? Would you want a tool that will enable you to shine like the light you are? A tool where you could be, do, and have anything you want just by having the desire for them? Well, you already have that tool. All that is left is putting it to work. In her new book, The Magnetic Mind, Juliet Israel shares 5 practical steps to helping you maximize the full potential of your mind, eliminate self-doubts and fear, take charge of your mind and attract your desires. But it doesn't end there. When you get the book, you get access to these. Firstly, a workbook to help you put to practice everything you've learned from the book. Secondly, a 3-month access to a support group with bi-weekly meetings to hold you by the hand and see your dreams come alive. And of course, the book itself. Get all these today for only 10,000 naira and begin the journey to maximize your full potential.
all right, guys. So we are ready to we're ready to move now. I'm so sorry for that, break in transmission, right? Okay, so I'm talking about overcoming the fear of success as a requirement for attracting your as a requirement for attracting your desires. So when the first time I wanted to talk about this, someone asked me that why should do people fear success? Why should someone be scared of having success? Because I mean, everybody wants success, and that's true, right? Everybody, as much as success means different things to different people, everybody wants to attain or achieve some form of success, um, irrespective of what it means to them. And you may feel like, oh, why should I be scared of success, or why should I be scared of attaining success? But you you probably are on your way, or have goals that you want to achieve, and you're working towards it, but then you just find yourself taking certain actions or certain steps that are kind of like hindering your goal, or hindering you from actually achieving that success. That may be because you have the fear of success. So unlike the fear of failure, which is widely talked about, it's very glaring. So if you're scared of failure, you have the fear of failure, you probably have thoughts like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? What if people I put out my stuff, or I put out um my services, or whatever it is that I'm putting out, and it fails, or nobody gets on board, nobody buys from me, nobody um acknowledges the fact that I'm doing some good work, right? That's kind of like the line of thoughts you may be having when it comes to the fear of failure. You do not want it to fail, so you are thinking certain thoughts that are like, would basically, oh, what if he fails? But when it comes to the fear of success, we do not really think about thoughts like that, right? Because we're not thinking, oh, what if I succeed? But you probably may find out that instead of putting out your uniqueness out there, you are hiding yourself back. So I was supposed to, someone reached out to me some weeks ago and told me she was hosting a summit just like this one. I think it was a 3-day summit, and she wanted me to be one of the guest speakers. And I said, "Oh, fine, that's cool. I would love to speak at your event." And um, she asked me, or we basically talked about the topic I was going to talk about, and I sent her my pictures, and basically we tried to summarize everything that was going to be needed for the summit, and I was kind of like good to go. But then 2 weeks later, I hadn't heard from this lady, and so I reached out to her, and I was like, "What's happening? You said your summit was this particular date. I haven't heard anything from you since then." And she was like, "Oh, she's just scared that she doesn't know if she should really put out the summit. That she's scared that, well, if it goes well after the summit ends, what is going to happen? Or like, is she going to keep hosting summits, or people will start looking up to her or something like that?" Like, she wasn't really sure, but she was kind of having imposter syndrome, right? And I realized that, oh, she was actually battling the fear of success. So the fear of success. Can you still see me? Okay, I guess you can still see me. So basically, imposter syndrome is basically doubting your abilities. You know that you're good, but then you're scared that, oh, what if you're not really good enough? And that's one sign of the fear of success, right? So for a long time, personally, like, this is actually the first time I am hosting a summit like this. This is the first time I'm hosting a summit where I have guest speakers. I invite guest speakers, have to work with some volunteers and all that. This is the first time I'm doing that. But I've been trying to build my brand for a very long time now, and I just realized that when I start the building process, I say, oh, I'm going to show up consistently. I'm going to provide value consistently. I start doing that, and then all of a sudden, I just relapse. I just, go back into my shells, and that's because I feel like, oh my goodness, people are coming to me so much, and people are like, oh ma, will you mentor me? Will you mentor me? Can I ask you a question? And then those kind of requests, it just felt overwhelming. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, people are really thinking so highly of me. Are you sure I can remain valuable to these people? Are you sure I'm going to remain relevant? Okay, what if I do something, I go on a live video and I start a recording, and then I say something that just off the chart, or is not doesn't make sense at all. Oh, Instablog is going to carry me. They're going to talk trash about me, that, oh, see what this coach is talking about. I was just having these thoughts in my head, and like, oh my goodness, I'm not sure I'm ready yet. So this is what happens. These are like the stream of thoughts that you face if you're having the fear of success, right? These are kind of like the thoughts that you may be having. And then sometimes some people may be like, oh, I'm not ready yet. So you just tend to see yourself always buying, you're buying the next course. I was trapped in that loop for a very long time, always wanting to buy the next course, because you feel like, oh, you don't know enough to teach people. But the truth is, every single person knows enough to teach another person, or every single person knows one step ahead of another person, because where you are currently in your journey in life, when it comes to actually attaining purpose or fulfilling your destiny, there are other people who are not there yet, right? So you're probably one step ahead on the ladder, and then there are people who have not even climbed the ladder at all. They've not even started the journey at all. And so you saying that, oh, what if you do not know enough? It means you're depriving yourself, and then you're depriving someone else who just needs that simple idea that you have. You're depriving someone else who just needs that simple, that thing you call little. That's just basically all they need to get started. And then you hide your uniqueness. You're like, oh, I'm not sure that I know enough to teach someone. You do not do that. You hide yourself, you hide your uniqueness, and you're depriving a lot of people from experiencing the uniqueness of you, right? Right. So I can still see the comments. You can just keep them coming. I'm still seeing the comments. And if you have questions, like I said, just put it up in the chat box. So this is one fear that basically holds people down, and it's a mindset that we need to get rid of. So I created a slide, but I do not want to, share the slide. But I'm just going to talk some things, say some things from the slide I created. And one of the things I said in one of the slides I created was limiting beliefs are self-fulfilling prophecies. So what are limiting beliefs? So limiting beliefs are, those beliefs that you hold to be true about yourself. So there are those beliefs that you hold to be true about yourself so strongly. You believe that thing so strongly, and those things are limiting, right? Those things are limiting. So for example, you believe that you're not good enough, and when you believe that you're not good enough, just like Chidaza Favor yesterday in her session, she said something about, those things that you say to yourself, you tend to act in that way. So when you feel like you are stubborn, you feel like you're not good enough, you would tend to always see that you're acting in that line, you're acting in accordance to the belief that you have. So they now eventually become self-fulfilling prophecy. So for instance, if you're saying that you're not good enough, you just find out that, okay, if you're supposed to put out content, if you're a writer, for example, you just find out that, oh, you're putting content that is not up to par, that is not up to standard or something, or it's not really great, right? And that's because you've already limited your own self in your mind. So it's going to be really, really difficult to create an amazing content or to create something amazing, because you've already believed that you're not good enough. So anytime you think a limiting thought, it will go on to, you would if you think a limiting thought, when before a thought becomes a belief that limits you, you think about it, and you do not just think once about it, you think about it and you dwell on it. Now the reason you dwell on it is because of the emotion that it emits. So if you're thinking negative thoughts about yourself, you're thinking small about yourself, you're thinking you're not good enough, um the emotions that you're feeling are not positive emotions. These emotions that you're going to be emitting are negative emotions, and these negative emotions are sending signals to your mind that, oh, Juliet is feeling this way, and so you just tend to act in accordance to how you feel. That's why people who are angry, if you see someone who is angry, they tend to act a certain way that expresses their anger, right? So people who are, they are boiling with anger, you just see that they are acting, and maybe they take bottle, they want to break, or they want to do something that gives expression to that emotion that is welling inside of them. So that is what happens when you think negative thoughts about yourself. So when you're thinking negative thoughts, you are passing or sending negative signals. You're sending negative signals, negative emotions. So the emotions you're emitting are negative emotions. And what your mind and your body is going to do is to try as much as possible to work in accordance to how you feel. So you're feeling negative about yourself, you're feeling small, you're feeling like you're not good enough, you're feeling like you do not have the right content or the right idea to share to help people where they are currently. And then all of that emotions is, they're all negative, right? So you're just going to realize that you start acting in that light. So what are some of the symptoms of, feeling small? You may realize that, you start procrastinating. You have a task that you're supposed to do, and you know that, oh, if you do this, you're probably going to get in the limelight. But then you start procrastinating on those tasks. And the reason you're procrastinating is not because you cannot do it right now. You're basically procrastinating because you've passed the signal to your mind that, oh, I'm not ready for this. So your mind, tells your body that, oh, she's not ready for this. So we need to tell her to, take more time. Oh, let her take more time. Let her take more courses. Let her do this. Let her do that, so that she can prepare herself. You're telling yourself that, oh, I need to do all of these things, do more of these things, so that I can prepare myself for the journey ahead. I can prepare myself to get better. But what you're doing is limiting yourself. You're basically limiting yourself because you have what it takes to um achieve your full potential right where you are right now. So Stanley said something yesterday. He said something about capacity, that you have the full capacity, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter the amount of knowledge you currently have. You already have the full capacity. So you do not actually need to limit yourself. You already have the full capacity to become whoever you need to be. And I remember something um, Zubi told me. I think Zubi is here. I don't know if I think I saw his comments some time ago. So Zubi, um, he's a great person. As someone I looked up to for a very long time, right? And it's someone actually who also has a hand in propelling my success and everything. So I remember one certain time, I told him, I think there was a time that I was, on and off when it comes to my brand. Today I show up, tomorrow I don't show up. And then there was a time he asked me, oh, Julie, why are you inconsistent, sort of something like that. And I think I told him that um, I'm trying to find my purpose or something. I can't really remember the context of the conversation right now. But there's something he told me. He told me that purpose is not found in isolation, not doing anything. It's not found when you're waiting. I think I'm just basically paraphrasing what he said, but this is basically the idea. He told me this for years, but it has stuck to me for a very long time right now, right? So he told me that we don't find purpose waiting for purpose. So we find purpose doing, right? So you are not going to find purpose just sitting and waiting for purpose to find you. It's just like you sitting down and be like, oh, I'm waiting to find what my purpose is. And you're not doing anything. But when you start taking action, it doesn't even matter what action you're taking. The truth is, whatever action you're taking is definitely going to lead to the purpose. Yes, I think this is the word. He said, if it's not the thing, it's going to be the thing that will lead to the thing. I don't know if you got that. I'm going to say it again. If it's not the thing, it's going to lead to the thing that will be the thing. If you got that, please put it in the chat box. If it's not the thing, it may not be the thing right now, but it's going to be the thing that will lead to the thing. So, for example, I graduated as an accountant, right? And when I went for my NYSC, something that we do, if you're listening to this from outside Nigeria, because I know we're going to definitely have listeners from outside the country. So this is something we do. If you're done with school, you get to serve the country for a year. So I was posted for my NYSC, and I was an accountant. So I was expecting to be posted to, the Ministry of Finance or something related to, what I do, accounting and all that. But then I got posted to a broadcasting house. And, you know, I was like, I did not study English language. I did not study mass communication. So what am I doing in a broadcasting house? So even when I went to my PPA, that's my place of primary assignment, which was the broadcasting station, every other person there studied either English or mass communication. I was the only, would I say, odd one out right now. Who I was the only person who studied something entirely different, and which was accounting. So my boss then he asked me, Juliet, I can see that you do not have any background in, English or mass communication. So would you like us to reject you? If you're in Nigeria and you pass through NYC, you know that when you go for your posting, you could be rejected when you get sent to a primary place of assignment. You could be rejected and then you know go for replacement, or go back to the secretariat and ask them to repost you to a particular place. So he asked me, would you like us to reject you so that you can maybe go to the Ministry of Finance, so that you you basically practice, because for this 1 year, practice what you learned in school. And I just felt like, no, if this is where I was posted to, then probably this is where I should be. I did not want to. In fact, I had a friend who was posted to the Ministry of Finance then, and she was like, Juliet, you're very smart. I can talk to my boss, that so they could bring you on board as well. So just tell them to reject you where you are, and I'm going to talk to my boss so that they could accept you, and then you go back to the secretariat, and then they're going to give you the Ministry of Finance directly. So you just come there and then they accept you. And I told her, no, don't worry. If this is where I was posted to originally, I'm just going to accept it, and maybe this is where I need to be, right? So for me then, being in a broadcasting sector, in the radio house, was not the thing for me, because my goal was to work in CBN, right? Since I was an accountant, I was like, oh, after NYSC, I'm going to you know, work in the Ministry of Finance for that 1 year, and then I would have garnered some bit of experience that I'm going to put into, I was also even planning on becoming chartered. I was planning on writing my ICANN. In fact, I think my dad had even registered me as at then for my ICANN exams. But I just said, no, no, I'm just going to stay here. I don't mind. And I stayed there for 1 year. And me, that I did not even study English or mass communication. At the end of my service year, I got an award for the best female presenter of the year. That's as a serving corps member. And after my 1 year, I told myself, after this 1 year, I'm just going to drop this whole broadcasting thing and go and start applying for accounting jobs. So after NYC, I came back to Lagos, and then I started applying for accounting jobs, being an accountant, right? And guess what? Not even one single um, firm or company that I applied to called me for an interview. And it's not as if I was not good enough. I topped my class in school, so I had a very great result. So I was wondering why no one called me, and somebody just told me that you have experience in broadcasting. Why don't you just channel? Because then I was really looking for a job. I really wanted to, start doing something. And so something just told me, why don't you just use this experience? At least you have an experience in this field. Why don't you just use this experience and channel it into applying for jobs in that field? So I said, okay, what are some of the skills I gained while I worked as a broadcaster? And one of the skills I gained was writing. So because we're core members, before we're allowed to go on air, we had to write out our scripts. So I had to learn. In fact, then I hated English. I hated English language. So during my NYC days, because I wanted to because before you were allowed to go on air, we would present our scripts to our director, and then if it's good to go, they will allow you go on air. So I had to start learning. I had to take up some courses. I had to start googling, how to write a script, how to write content that people would love. So I during that phase, I was really learning a whole lot about writing. So when I was done with my NYC, I could say that, oh, I was good as a writer. And so I decided to use that experience as a writer to apply for writing jobs, right? So I applied for writing jobs. And then the first, I think I applied for like 2 weeks. I got called for an interview, and I was like, woo! They called me to interview. I was really so happy because, I wasn't expecting it. It was something that, oh, let me just try. You know, when you say, oh, let me just try something and see if it works. So that was it for me. I just wanted to try out. And then I got called for interview. I attended the first interview. They said they were going to get back to me. They haven't gotten back to me today though, till date. So I'm still waiting for them. Maybe they will get back to me sometime. And then the second um place they called me for interview, um I was really not even expecting that I would get the job. But funnily enough, I got the job, and I got the job based on the fact that I had an experience. I had the experience. I told them, I shared my experience. So I worked. I'm an accountant, although I'm an accountant, but in the space of 1 year, I worked in a broadcasting house. This was what I had to do. I had to learn to write content. I had to take up some courses. I had to do all of this, and I got the job based on that. So what the story I'm trying to why I'm telling you all of this is to bring out that point I told you. If it's not the thing, it will lead to the thing that would be the thing. So for me then, when I was serving all that 1 year in the broadcasting house, for me it was not the thing. My thing for me then was accounting. And the beautiful thing is that even till now, I don't even work as an accountant anymore. It was basically that when I got that job as a writer, I built myself. I learned copywriting, digital marketing, and all of that. And that's basically the field I'm playing heavily in right now, right? So if it's not the thing, it will be the thing that will lead to the thing. I don't know if you can link up the story with what I'm telling you. So my accounting then was the thing, but getting that placement for NYSC as a broadcaster and writer, news writer, and all that, it was not the thing for me. But I did not know that it would be the thing that would eventually lead to the thing. So if I had decided to, like, oh no, I don't want to do this, just like some people will say, oh, I'm trying to find my purpose, I'm not going to do what I find to do right now. The Bible says, whatever your hands find to do, you should do it with all diligence, right? You should do it with all diligence, do it with all your heart, do it with all your mind, do it like it's the last thing you're going to do, because it may not be the thing that you're looking at. It may not be the goal that you have. It may not be the desire that you have, but it could be the thing that would lead to the thing, right? So that's basically the point of the story that I'm trying to tell you. So overcoming, let me see, I'm just going to highlight some comments that I can see. Okay, so this is Zubi O Peters. Give it up for Zubi O Peters. Thank you so much for being here, Zubi O Peters. This is one very great person that I really, really love and admire so much, and has really helped me push become is part of the people who has helped me become who I am today. So I'm really very thankful and honored to have you here and have you listen to me. Thank you so much, sir. So moving on, I was talking about the fear. I'm still talking about the fear of success, overcoming the fear of success. So I told that story because a lot of people remain where they are. A lot of people remain stagnated. They are trying to wait for purpose to find them, when they should actually be the one working towards achieving purpose, right? So in my book, The Magnetic Mind, I talk about several fears. I talk about 5 different fears actually that plague us back. And I think the two major fears that really hold us back when it comes to achieving or attracting our desires are the fear of failure and the fear of success. But I decided to hammer on the fear of success, because this is one fear that people do not really talk about, because everybody believes that we all want to succeed, so we should not be on our own way of success, right? We should not be standing we should not be hindering our own progress. We should actually want to succeed, right? But the truth is, one thing I realized is that in as much as we want to succeed, we are sometimes the ones standing in our own way of success. Like I talked about imposter syndrome. Syndrome, procrastination. You may be procrastinating on some things, and let me just highlight some comments that I can see. I can see your comments, right? Thank you so much for the comments so far. So In my book, The Magnetic Mind, I'm still emphasizing that book because I believe that book is very packed and very rich with a lot of resources that is going to basically push you into your greatness, basically help you attract your desires. We all have desires, but a lot of times we are the ones standing in our own way of progress. We're the ones standing in our own way of success, right? So, how very quickly I'm going to talk about how to overcome the fear of success. How to overcome the fear of success. How to overcome the fear of success. So I'm just going to talk about three quick things, three quick tools or tips to overcoming the fear of success. So number one tip is to become aware of your sabotaging tendencies. Become aware of those sabotaging tendencies and thoughts, right? To become aware of them. So one of the things I had to do last year was sit down and ask myself, Juliet, what is actually the problem? Like, you know your stuff, you know you are good, you have all of the idea, you've taken up so much so much courses, and you're actually good. So why are you not doing what you should be doing? Why are you not, you know, working on your goals, working on those desires of yours? So I had to become aware of the thoughts that I was having. So I knew that one of the thoughts I was having was, I was like, hey God, what if someone comes to me and people are like, oh, mentor me, ma. That's one of the things that scares me. People are like, oh, mentor me, ma. I have a question. I have this, and maybe what if I do not have the right thing? What if I do not have the right words to tell them? Will I always have what to say? Will I always have the right thing to say? When you get to a place where you become known, you tend to worry about these things because you're like, especially if you're an overthinker, right? If you think a lot, you over analyze things a lot. You be like, oh, what if something happens right now and then I get called on stage? Maybe someone, for example, you all are here and a lot of people are already getting value from what I'm sharing, and then someone decides to take hold of some of the things that I'm sharing and implement it and sees results. And they're like, maybe they invite me to their events that they are hosting, and it's probably a physical event, and I'm there and I'm seated not as a speaker, just as an audience like the rest of the people. And they're like, oh, I want to thank someone who really who is a major factor, or basically, how these people just great people, they talk about their heroes, their mentors, and all of that. And I'm like, oh God, what if I'm there, I'm seated there, and then somebody just mentions me like this? Oh my goodness, I'll be like, oh, let the ground just open that and kind of swallow me right now, because they're going to bring me up in the open, and then maybe they will say, oh, if she has a thing or two to say. What if I don't have anything to say? Those were kind of like the thoughts that I was having. Those were some of the thoughts and ideas that I was having, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I do not know enough. Okay, maybe I need to take up the small courses, and that's why I took a lot of courses, which were good. But the problem with taking courses and not actually implementing is that when you take a particular course, you would realize that, oh, you take a course to fill up in a knowledge gap, right? But then once you fill up that knowledge gap, you realize that there's like a lot more things. There are a lot more things that you do not know, and then you just find yourself that you're always, wanting to take up more courses, because you're like, when you discover, you take up a course and you learn something, or you take up a book and you read and you learn something, you realize there are a lot more things that you do not know. The irony of it is that the more we know is the more we know that we do not know. I don't know if someone caught that. The more we know, the more we know that we do not know, right? So as much as we get to know, we get new ideas, we get fresh ideas, we learn a whole lot of things. We also open up ourselves, open up our our minds to the fact that, oh, there's still a lot more to know. And the truth of the matter is that we can never know enough. There will always be something that you do not know. And so if you keep on waiting until you know everything, you may just end up waiting forever. So what do? Take action on what you already know. Take action on what you already know. And it may not even be the thing right now, but it could eventually be the thing that will lead to the thing, right? So number one way to overcome this fear of success is, oh, someone said it's cracking. I don't know if any other person is experiencing that, or is the person's, or is Anne's network. I don't know if any other person is experiencing that. So if you can hear me clearly, please just let me know in the comments that you can hear me clearly, so that I know that it's not from my end. All right. So yes, thank you, Anifa. The more we know, the more we know that we do not know. Okay, I can see your comments, but I do not know if I'm still cracking. Someone said I was cracking, so I want to make sure that you can actually hear me clearly, right? So I'm just going to move on. If it's still cracking, you can just let me know in the comments that it's cracking. So I said the number one way to overcome the fear of success is to, please. Anne is still saying that I'm cracking. Okay. Vanessa says I'm cracking as well. Um, can you hear me right now? I think everyone is saying that I am cracking. So can you hear me right now? Just give me a minute. Let me fix up. Let me check my audio setting. So just give me some minutes, or a second basically. Can you hear me? If it's better, please just let me know that it's better. Uh let me see. Okay guys, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I think I tried to work on mine. Okay, Kingdom says you can hear me. Subi says you can hear me. A little background cracks, but you can hear clearly. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry about the cracks. So I'm just going to move on because we're okay. Okay, thank you so much. I think, okay, if you can hear me, just please bear with the cracks. I really do not know why it started cracking right now. So I do not want to focus so much on the cracking. Let's focus on the message, right? So I'm just going to move on, and I want to be really, really fast because I want to start taking your questions. So if you have questions, please let me know in the comments. You can just put out your questions. Um, just put down your questions, right? So just put down your questions if you have any, so that I'm just going to start taking them now, because we've already spent so much time trying to fix this whole cracks, right? So I said number one, be aware of those self-sabotaging tendencies, which are, the thoughts that you are having, when it comes to success. So when the idea of success, whatever success means to you, when the idea of success hits you, what are those thoughts that you have? So if success means buying a car, what are those thoughts that come to play when you think about buying a car? Maybe you're like, oh, if I buy a car, I'm going to hit someone. I'm just saying, but what are those thoughts that come to play? What are those thoughts that comes to mind when the idea of success comes around? Those are the thoughts that you focus on. Now, after you've analyzed those thoughts, you've outlined those thoughts, the next thing you need to do is to create a contingency plan to execute if those things happen, if those things were to happen. So for example, we talked about the idea of getting a car, right? And maybe your thoughts is that your thoughts is that oh, you could hit somebody, right? So if that is your thoughts, if that is your idea, what is the contingency plan? So basically, a contingency plan is like a backup plan. What you need to do is like, what I will do A if this happens. I will do this if that happens. So that's like creating a backup plan. Creating a backup plan. Thank you very much for letting me know that. Someone says it's still cracking. So someone says it's still cracking, but other people are saying it's very clear right now. But I'm just going to move on and focus on the session, so we do not really. I hope you can still hear me. I hope you can still hear me, right? So I was talking about creating a backup plan. So what is the thing that you could do? What is that one thing that you could do? Or maybe it doesn't even have to be one thing. What are the things that you could do? What are the things that you could do if that thing that you are scared of happening happens? So if you think that, oh, you could hit somebody if you have a car, it's the first time you're getting a car and it's the first time you're driving. So what do you basically need to do? Maybe you basically need to perfect your driving skills, right? So you need to learn how to drive, perfect your driving skills, and make sure that maybe when you're for the first few times you'll be driving, you have someone by the side, so that a guide who basically has been there, has done what you're doing right now, which is been I've driven a couple of times, and they are very good drivers, right? So basically that's basically creating like a backup plan, a contingency plan to help you overcome that particular fear. So when you do that, you say, okay, these are the things that I need to do, right? So the next step, which is the third and final one, is to project or visualize success. So depending on what success means to you, okay, thank you guys for letting me know that. Um, all right, thank you guys for letting me know that it's no longer cracking, right? So the first step is to understand those thoughts, outline those self-sabotaging thoughts, and then the next step is to create a backup plan if it's not when, if those thoughts were to happen. So the reason you create that backup plan, the idea of creating that backup plan is to prepare yourself ahead. So you know that, okay, I have something to fall back on if at all this thing happens. Because the truth of the matter is that most of the time, the things that we fear do not eventually come to reality or do not even happen. So for example, me hosting this summit, I'm like, oh, what if I host the summit and then nobody shows up, right? Or I could have several thoughts, several limiting thoughts that would hold me back from actually doing what I want to do. So creating a backup plan just, gives you something to always fall back on. So you're relaxed that, okay, bad as if bad. Let me use that English. Bad as if bad. If anything happens, see, last, this is what I'm going to do, right? So that's what creating a backup plan helps you to do. And then the third step, which is the final one, is to visualize your success. So for example, using the example of a car, you have the thought that, oh, what if I get the car and then I hit somebody? I'm driving and then I hit somebody, and I cause an accident or something like that. So your backup plan could be, oh, I need to perfect my driving skills. That could be your backup plan. And then the third step, which is to visualize success, is to see yourself actually driving the car without hitting anybody, driving the car from where you are to where you want to be, from where you are, your present destination, to your present position, to your destination, without actually having causing a stare or having an accident or anything. So that's basically projecting your success, visualizing success. If I talk, God, there's a whole lot of things I want to talk about, but I just feel like it's going to really take a whole lot of time. Um, well, visualizing success, oh my goodness, God help me right now. So basically, visualizing success is, visualizing your destination. And I want to talk about the idea of parallel universe. If you've heard about the idea of parallel universe, is the fact that, basically everything, it feels like everything that, you are, like, as you are, there's someone who looks exactly like you, who probably even answers your name. If you just have, I'm just giving you an idea that you can, that can help you visualize this process, or see, put this into perspective. So just have the idea that, oh, there's someone who already exists like me. There's someone who already has my kind of identity. But the difference between this person here and that person is the fact that that person is already experiencing all of the things that I want to experience. That person already has all of the things I want to have. That person already has the car. That person already has the influence. That person already has the knowledge. So what do I do right now? Right now, I am here. I am this person. But I'm looking at that person. I want to be that person. I want to be that person who has the car, who has the money, who has the influence, who has the impact, and all that. I'm not that person yet. I'm this person. So what do? I tell myself that, okay, it already exists in another reality, that reality where all of this happens, where all of this exists. So you tell yourself that, oh, it already exists in that reality. So what you need to do is to see yourself in that reality. See yourself as that person in that reality. So oh my God. I don't know how to pass this idea that you're going to get it, but I really, really hope that you get what I'm trying to tell you right now. See yourself in that reality, experiencing all of these amazing things that you want to experience in this reality. And then you come back to this reality and say, okay, this is what that reality experienced. But for that reality to experience all of these amazing things, this is what that person he's doing. This is what the me in that reality is doing. These are all of the steps that the me in that reality is taking, or taking basically. So you now start taking those steps. So visualizing yourself in that other reality that you want to be, where everything, praise, AJ, praise, you have all of those things that you really want. You have all your desires, and you have all of the things that you really want. You have all your desires, all your, like, you don't even you're not even really praying, God, give me this. You already have those things. You're just basically living the life. Yes, you're living the life. That's it. You're basically just living the life. But for that person in that reality to live the life, the person needed to pass through some phases. It's just like climbing a ladder and taking some steps, right, up the ladder. They needed to pass through some phases. They needed to climb the ladder, pass through some, and you probably, in this reality, you are experiencing all of that right now. So what you need to do is not to despair, not to, be brokenhearted that, oh, I'm not experiencing all of that. All you need to do is just to see yourself in that reality as experiencing all of that, and come back to this reality and start acting on them. Start doing the things that the person in that reality will be doing. Acting and thinking the thoughts that the person in that reality it will be thinking. Start taking the steps that the person in that reality will be taking, and you will just see that it will be very, 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 very easy. Very easy to project yourself, visualize your success. Yes, and Anne says parallel universe is like a duplicate, exactly, just like a duplicate of who you are right now. But the difference between the you right now and the you in that reality is the fact that the you there has everything already, right? So on this note, I am going to call it a night. Well, I'm going to call it a night, because if I just keep on talking, I'm going to talk and talk, and I do not want to really I don't want us to take so much time. So guys, if you have questions, let me see your questions in the comment section. I'm going to be taking the questions right now. Also, if this was valuable to you, I want to see your comments. I want to see what you learned. Let me know what you learned. Let me know your take home. Let me know the actions you're going to be taking from here. Let me know that thing you're going to start doing. I also want to see your fire emojis, right? I want to see that this was valuable for you, to you, and I want to see your take homes, basically. And then if you have questions, please leave it in the comment section, and I'm going to just take one or two of them, right? So while I'm waiting for the questions and your feedback so far, I'm going to talk about my new book, The Magnetic Mind. I don't know if you can see it clearly. Right. So let me just take off this, right? So it's titled The Magnetic Mind. It's how to tap into the limitless power of the mind to develop confidence and attract your desires. This is my first official book in print in life. Right? So I would really love you guys to take advantage of this book. This book is power packed. I'm going to leave the link to where you can get it, but before I leave the link to how you can get it, I'm going to say a few things about this book. So we've been talking about the Magnetic Mind Summit, and the whole idea comes from this book. So if you think all the sessions that we've been having since yesterday, Chinaza Favor session on limiting beliefs, Stanley's session on self-confidence, and Aaron's session today on the magnetic self, basically connecting to yourself, and then my session right now on the fear of success. Then, if you think all of these sessions were amazing and were powerful, then you definitely need to get this book, because all of those things that you heard were tip of the iceberg of what you're going to get actually from this book. So every single thing that we talked about in this session so far, or in this summit so far, was like coined from some of the chapters of this book, and it's not even everything. So my session today is from a chapter. I think it's the second chapter also, and that chapter I talked about fear. So the fear of success comes under fear. So that chapter is very broad. I went deep. I dived deep into the idea of fear, where fear stemmed from, the origin of fear, the different types of fear. In fact, I even talked about the fear of failure. I said two major fears: fear of success, fear of failure. And I talked more about the fear of failure. I talked about several other fears. I think fear of criticism, on basically, I think five other fears. I talked about them in this book. And then I talk about the fear of success. I hammered on it as well. I also talk about some of sometimes we have fears, but we do not even know the particular fear we're dealing with. So in the number one way to overcome your fear of success, like I said today, was analyzing, thinking about those thoughts that you have. Sometimes we do not even know, right? So in this book, I dive deeper into all of the all of the thoughts that could or all of the thoughts that you could have when it comes to the fear of success, the kind of thoughts that you could have when it comes to the fear of failure, the kind of thoughts that you could have when it comes to every different type of fear. So I talk more about those kind of thoughts. So this will help you understand, oh, I think I'm having, when you see a particular thought and you're like, oh, I think I've had this kind of thoughts before. I think I've had this kind of thoughts in the past, and you'll be like, oh, so I'm dealing with this kind of fear. And then I do not just even highlight those thoughts that you may be having. I also talk about how to deal with it. People are already getting their copies, not even just from Nigeria alone. People from outside the country are already grabbing their copy. So you definitely want to get your copy. And currently, the book is sold. Like if you watch the video ad for this, it sold for 10,000 naira, and that's because it is power packed, number one. And then number two, I also created a workbook. Now I believe in practicals. I do not just like, that's why when I was having, before this session, this summit started, I talked about, I did a video, you find it on YouTube here. I talked about some of the action points we need to take, because I believe in taking action. I'm not someone who gets an idea and sleeps on it. I run fast with, if I get an idea right now. My team members know me for this. If I get an idea, I'm sharing it with them. Oh guys, I just got this idea and we need to start immediately now. So I believe in taking action. So I know that some people just get books and then they read the content, is really nice, and they don't do anything, they don't take any action. So basically, I am also creating a workbook for this. So what that workbook is going to help you do is that after reading chapter one, you read the chapter one and you say, okay, the chapter one is on this. Then the workbook will say, okay, so what do I need to do to maximize, the take action on what the ideas shared on this book, or shared from on this book basically. So that workbook gives you pointers, give you, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that, and it helps you take action. So I believe in action, I believe in practicality, and that's why I'm also creating a workbook. Now, this when you get this book, you also get access to the workbook for free, right? And the workbook is actually separate from this book. The workbook is not in the pages of this book at all. So it's a different book I am creating. And then the second thing you're also going to get is access to a 3 month access to a community. Now, why am I creating a 3 month access to a community? I also realized that when people get courses or get books like this, um, they don't really take action, right? So the access to the 3 month community, I'm going to be going live bi-weekly. So that will be once in 2 weeks. I'll be going live with the people who, get this book, right? And we will be going over the pages or the content of this book and making sure that you take action on the ideas shared, right? So the goal is that you take action, you actually, because the book is that you attract the subtitle is that the idea of the subtitle is that you attract your desires. So my goal is to see that everybody who has a goal, who has a dream, and then they probably are sabotaging themselves with a limiting mindset, is that they is to see them break free from all of these things. And I want to help you, I want to work hand in hand with you. I'm not just, this book can be generic, such that, I shared these ideas, and then there's some things, some questions you may have that you want to have answered, right? So this is what the community stands for. This is what you're going to get from this community. You're going to get answers to those questions. You have these burning questions. You're going to get access to me, free access to me, so that I can answer all of your questions as they hot, right? So like I said, the book is going for 10,000 naira, but you can get it. So you get the book, you get the access to the community, and you also get the workbook. If you take action now, the pre-order price ends, I think, today. But I'm going to give an extension, which is before the month of March, which is in 2 days or so. I think tomorrow is the final day in February. So you can, if you pay, if you can take action, if you want to take action right now, you get this book for 5,000 naira only, and you get access to all of the amazing benefits that I listed or I talked about. You're going to get access to all of those benefits for only 5,000 naira, right? Isn't that amazing? You get access to the book itself, you get access to a workbook, and you get access to the 3 month community. Isn't that amazing, guys? I want to know if you think it is amazing, if you think it's worth it. Let me know in the comments. So I think I've been really fair. I've been really fair. The book should go for 10,000 naira, but I'm giving you the book for 5,000 naira, and you're not just getting the book, you're also getting a workbook, you're also getting access to a community for 3 months. So this is the bomb, guys. Take advantage of it. Oh, okay. So I'm going to put the link. Let me see if I can copy and paste the link somewhere in the comment section, so that you can just click on it right now and start making your payment. Right? So I have dropped the link in the comments. So I can see your comments that it's very amazing, it's worth it. Thank you so much, guys. I'm glad that you think it's amazing. So the next thing you need to do is to take action. So I've dropped the link in the comments. I believe you should be able to click on that link from the comment section. So this is where we call it a day or a night as it is right now, or as it stands right now. The sessions so far have been really, really amazing, right? People have been blessed. Yeah, so Anne, it's an awoof not to miss. Anne says it's an awoof. So please, guys, do not miss it, right? Do not miss it. Go right ahead and take action right now. So this is where we call it, this is where we end the summit for the year. This is the first summit I'm hosting with guest speakers. I believe that going forward we're going to host more of this summits, right? But I want to say a very, very, very big thank you to every single person who have been here from the beginning yesterday. Okay, I think some people are talking about the things that they learned. Okay, Vanessa talks about the thing or what she learned, and I'm getting some fire emojis. The power of visualization is great. So, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining the session. And amen. Thank you, Zubi. Thank you, Zubi. Thank you, Zubi. All right. All right, thank you guys so much. This has been really wonderful. You guys came out for me. This is the first summit I'm hosting with guest speakers, like I said earlier on, and it was really amazing. From yesterday's session with all the guest speakers, it has been really, really great. And the replays are going to be available on YouTube, so you can always come back and watch the replays. But I want to thank everybody who joined live. I cannot mention all the names. Comfort and Kingdom, Zubi, Hanifat, Vanessa, my dad, AJ Praise, Preacher Man. I cannot basically call. I may not be if I do not mention you. Please do not vex for me. Please do not be angry with me. I really appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that you were here and you um actively participated in the summit. From yesterday, the comment section was blazing with fire, and you've just been there and supportive. And once again, I want to thank my team members. I'm going to play that video again to thank my team members, because I believe that I cannot really thank them enough. So I'm going to play that video again to talk about my team. Basically, they were the ones who made all of this possible. They made my work go so smoothly. So, guys, meet my team members, my amazing and beautiful team members. I'm going to play the video right now. All right, guys. Thank you so much. So, did you see how amazing my team was? I think there are some questions. Do you see how amazing my team members were? Like, look at how. Yes, and is asking if there will be a replay. Yeah, so there would be a replay, right? There'll be a replay. So these guys, I just cannot thank them enough. Thank you guys so much. I sincerely appreciate you, and I pray that you will never lack helpers. You will never lack any good thing in Jesus' name. So I'm going to be ending this summit right now. Once again, thank you to everybody. I'm going to end with the video about my book. So after I played the video about my book, the book trailer, then I would end the summit, and we call it a night or the end of the summit for the year. Hopefully, there are going to be lots of other summits, and I also would love to see you all there, right? So thank you guys so much, and for now it's a bye bye. After the video, I'm going to end the broadcast, and that would be the end. Thank you so much. Or that would actually be the beginning of great things ahead. I think I said that wrongly. Not the end. It's going to be the beginning of great things. So, guys, cheers. Cheers to your greatness. I want to see you achieve all of the things, all of the amazing things that you want to achieve. I look forward to seeing your testimonials. I look forward to seeing all of the beautiful things that God is going to do for you through the summit. And I cannot wait to hear all of those things. I'll be here to celebrate you. I'll be here to celebrate your success and all that. So thank you once again so much. In fact, I think I've said thank you 100 times, but you know that I'm really grateful. So, right, bye guys, bye everyone, and thank you. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much, and bye.
What if you could have anything you desire? What if you could eliminate fear, doubt, and those limiting beliefs boxing up your dreams once and for all? Would you want that? Would you want a tool that will enable you to shine like the light you are? A tool where you could be, do, and have anything you want just by having the desire for them? Well, you already have that tool. All that is left is putting it to work. In her new book, The Magnetic Mind, Juliet Israel shares 5 practical steps to helping you maximize the full potential of your mind, eliminate self-doubt and fear, take charge of your mind and attract your desires. But it doesn't end there. When you get the book, you get access to these. Firstly, a workbook to help you put to practice everything you've learned from the book. Secondly, a 3-month access to a support group with bi-weekly meetings to hold you by the hand and see your dreams come alive. And of course, the book itself. Get all these today for only 10,000 Naira and begin the journey to maximize your full potential.